I started out, believe it or not, with a $1 bill in my pocket, right? Any company that was successful did two things very well. Treated their people really well and had a culture of discipline. Life never gets easier. What happens is we become better at handling hard.
I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Matterport and BHT Studios. Today I have two special guests, two CEOs, and we will start with you, Gino Blefari. You are the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services and the CEO of the parent company, Home Services of America. And I would like to introduce our own CEO of Matterport, RJ Pittman. So here we are, and would love to start with success stories. Let's start with you, Gino. Just a few words. You've been an entrepreneur all your life. You started early, you've been in real estate, you started so many businesses. Please share with us the success that you brought all the way up to Home Services of America.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just kind of give you that little journey there. And just like so many of the real estate professionals, I started out as a realtor. I started out, believe it or not, with a $1 bill in my pocket, right? That's how broke I was when I started out in this business, and learned everything I could about real estate. Shut my TV off for an entire year and just focused solely on real estate, okay? And then, so I was an agent. And I thought, man, it's kind of hard being an agent. And then I became a branch manager at Contampo Realty. And the interesting piece there was I thought, wow, it was actually a little bit easy just being an agent than it is being a branch manager. In fact, I got to, at Contampo, the owner was my Little League baseball coach. And I was fortunate enough for him to make me a partner and a manager while I was still selling stuff. So we took Contampo from about 65 agents to 650 agents. Wow. And in 1997, we sold it to Realogy, okay, which Coldwell Banker, Realogy, right? And Anywhere, that's called now, right? And it had 5-year non-compete. So I stayed on, four of the partners left. I stayed on as the president of Contampo, and it became Century 21 Seville Contampo. So while Century 21 had at that time like 6,300 offices all around, many of them were smaller, like mom and pop businesses. So when Contampo came in, more of a regional player, we were the #1 Century 21 in the world, which was a great experience for me. But also we had 7 of the top 10 offices in the world. Okay, so 6,300 offices, and we had 7 of them, which was pretty cool. Now, as you remember, Anywhere, which at the time was called, Cindat, they had this thing called the National Realty Trust, NRT. Mm-hmm. And so we owned companies in like 30 different metros. And in San Francisco Bay Area, we had a huge Coldwell Banker presence. They had bought, Cornish and Carey, Fox and Carskadden, some very, very big companies there. And it made sense. This was my idea. I was looking at it and says, wow, if we're all one brand, we can create a great deal of synergies there. So what happened was we merged Century 21 Seville Contampo into Coldwell Banker Northern California. And at that time, I took a position, kind of another little promotion, as a senior vice president for NRT. So now I got more of a national job, okay? And that was great, and I enjoyed it. I didn't felt completely utilized, right? Mm-hmm. And I was still hungry for more. I didn't want to sell my original company, but the 4 other partners did, so I just went along with the thing. And I got to see, after being part of the independents, and now I'm part of a big brand, Century 21 brand, and now Coldwell Banker brand, I could think, potentially I could do this again and start like from scratch. So when my 5-year non-compete was up, I resigned my job. I had no office to go to, no company to go to, and I thought I would start a company. And so I started Intero Real Estate Services, of where we are today, right? Yep. And so Intero I had 20 years of experience right off the bat, and I knew all of the top people in the area, and I was able to get 6 really top managers and friends of mine, some that you have interviewed or you will interview, John Thompson, Brian Crane, Terry Meyer, Tom Tognoli, Kevin Moles, and Jerry Kiss, really great managers. And we organically grew Intero. When I say organically, it means no mergers, no acquisitions, from 0 to 1,000 agents in 18 months. No special pyramid scheme, commission splits or anything like that. Just a standardized thing. When basically I took Coldwell Banker's IC agreement, Alain Pinnell's IC agreement, merged them together, and that was ours. But we got everybody to join us because of what we believed in. We had a vision statement, we still do, guided by the principle of trust, respect, and integrity. We empower people to achieve their dreams. And then we had 15 values in what we call the Intero Value Pyramid. I took a page out of John Wooden's book, right? And created, he had the Pyramid of Success. Well, I called it the Intero Value Pyramid. Now, we had our own values in it that were Interos, but the premise was the same. And then I took another page out of Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, and I took the Intero. What I realized was any company that was successful did 2 things very well. Treated their people really well and had a culture of discipline. So I took the Intero Value Pyramid and I wrapped it in a culture of discipline. Disciplined thought, disciplined people, and disciplined action. And when you have disciplined thought, you don't need a hierarchy. Disciplined people, you don't need bureaucracy. Disciplined action, you don't need excessive controls. And when you take a culture of discipline with an ethic of entrepreneurship, that's where you get the magical alchemy of great performance and sustained results, right? So that was it. Intero was terrific. Fastest growing company in the history of NAR, and we did a repeat. Okay, so we did 1.64 billion our first year. Perspective for you, out of 80,000 real estate companies, 83 of them did $1 billion. We did 1.64 billion our first year without buying anybody. Again, no merger, no acquisition.
And you were always in the same area, so you are
Silicon
right
Valley.
here.
Yeah. The next year, because I checked with NAR, nobody ever went back to back. So you got the team together. So team, we're going back to back, and we were gaining momentum. And the market was a good market in 2004, and we did $6.5 billion. Okay.
Wow.
Our second year. So we were off to a great start. And then, of course, the Great Recession hit, was not prepared for it, didn't make cuts quick enough, and went very close to going broke. Everything that I had built up at that time and my partners, I leveraged. And it came down to December of 2008. Remember I told you earlier when we were talking offline that I had a mortgage company called Western Bancorp. I had my mom and dad come in, retired people, bought a house in Sunnyvale for $18,500 back in 1960. I had them come in and I refinanced my parents' house, took $400,000 out of their house and put it in Intero to make payroll in January 2009. But I had already right-sized the company. I had my system in, which I called the West Coast offense for running a real estate company. You being a 49er fan,
Yes, sir.
you'll get that little piece there. So I knew we'd be okay. We were one of the few companies that made money in 2009. And then once you hit that piece and you're doing all the right things, we doubled it in 2010. We doubled it in 2011. We doubled it in 2012. We doubled it in 2013.